G'day and welcome to the Aussie Motorhome and RV Show. Powered by RV3D, Australia's custom 3D printing specialist for caravans, motorhomes and RVs. Find them at rv3d.com.au. I'm your host, and this is episode 1. Before we get into today's topic, let me tell you what this show is about. Australia has one of the toughest environments in the world for recreational vehicles. We drag motorhomes across corrugations that shake fittings loose, sit through summer heat that cooks interiors, tackle freezing winter mornings, and travel distances where a small failure can quickly become a major problem. That's exactly why this show exists. Each episode we dig into a specific topic: technical problems, travel trends, gear, upgrades, safety, or practical advice for Australian conditions. Not what works in Europe or the US, what works here. Now, Episode 1, The Obsolete Part Problem: How 3D printing is keeping older motorhomes on the road. Anyone who's owned a motorhome long enough has had this moment. A tiny plastic latch snaps, a cupboard clip breaks, a bracket cracks after years of corrugations. Suddenly a component worth a few dollars threatens weeks of frustration. Not because the part is complicated, but because it no longer exists. Motorhomes and caravans are packed with plastic. Open any cabinet or service hatch and you'll find clips, trims, spacers, brackets, hinges, cable retainers, plumbing supports. Most owners never think about them until one fails. And unlike engines or fridges, these parts are often proprietary, produced for limited manufacturing runs. Once production stops, spare part support disappears surprisingly fast. A 10-year-old motorhome may still have a perfectly healthy drivetrain and usable living area, yet a broken table latch or drawer retainer becomes impossible to source. Dealers don't stock it. The manufacturer changed suppliers years ago. Universal alternatives rarely fit properly. A broken clip sounds trivial until you're parked outside Broken Hill and your folding table won't lock upright, or your cupboard doors keep flying open every time you hit corrugations. Why do these parts fail faster in Australian conditions? Motorhomes live hard lives. Cabin temperatures exceeding 60 degrees inside locked vehicles, thousands of kilometres of corrugations, constant UV attack, heavy loads on rough roads, expansion and contraction every single day. Many original manufacturers use injection molded plastics optimized for manufacturing cost rather than longevity. Over time they become brittle, UV damaged or fatigued. Historically the options were limited: glue it, cable tie it, modify something similar. These repairs work sometimes, but old brittle plastics reject adhesives. Universal hardware rarely aligns correctly. Modified parts frequently introduce new stress points. This is where 3D printing changes the equation. A broken component can be measured, reverse engineered, digitally modeled, strengthened, and reproduced on demand. And the replacement doesn't have to be identical. It can be better. Weak mounting tabs become thicker. Stress concentrations get reduced. Brittle sections become more flexible. In many cases, the replacement part is an upgrade on the original. Table latches, plumbing brackets, cupboard catches, cable management components, dashboard fascia pieces. The list of printable parts is larger than most owners realize, and material selection matters. Parts need to survive heat, vibration, UV, moisture, and long-term fatigue. When the correct engineering materials are used, like PETG, replacement parts can outlast original injection molded components. We'll dig deep into materials in episode 4. RV3D is an Australian business doing exactly this work. Custom PETG parts and accessories for caravans, motorhomes, and RVs, designed for Australian conditions. If you've got a broken part you can't source, they can reproduce it. Find them at rv3d.com.au. Worth bookmarking before you actually need them. The biggest shift here is philosophical. Modern products encourage replacement. But motorhomes are different. Many rigs remain structurally sound for decades. Small obsolete components should not decide when an otherwise capable vehicle reaches the end of its life. Obsolete no longer automatically means unavailable. Before your next trip, take a walk around your rig and look at the small plastic components. The clips, the latches, the brackets. Smart touring isn't about perfection. It's about preparation. Next episode, we're covering freezing nights in a motorhome. Why condensation forms. Why ventilation feels wrong but works. And what actually keeps you comfortable in winter. Don't miss it. This has been the Aussie Motorhome and RV show powered by RV3D. For custom 3D printed parts built for Australian conditions, visit rv3d.com.au. That's rv3d.com.au. Safe travels, and we'll see you next episode.